So as a podiatrist, orthotics are a really, really important part of what we do and what we provide as a treatment for our patients. The lab we use is Footwork. So if you haven't used Footwork before, they're a lab based here in Victoria. Really, one of the big benefits of Footwork is that they're super reliable, their product is super consistent, and they're really, really helpful. So if you do have any questions or concerns or follow-ups or troubleshooting, they're great to work with, and they're super effective at coming up with solutions and working it out for you. So number one is obviously make sure you're familiar with how to take a scan. So it's something that if you haven't done before, I would strongly recommend you watch the video below. And even if you have used their product, we need you to watch the video just to ensure that you're up to date on how to use it. Once you're familiar with how to scan, it's probably a good idea to actually practice on a patient. So feel free to grab one of the team and ask them just to practice taking a scan, so that when a patient comes in, particularly, it may be early on in your time with us, that you feel confident and you can do it effectively and successfully. The next step is obviously to understand how to do a script. So what we've done is we've put through a really comprehensive list, and this is basically directly from working with Footwork on how to do a script with Footwork. So there are a lot of nuances in terms of how you can get the best out of the orthotic. And obviously the things differ from lab to lab. So what this means is that it helps you understand, okay, if you're trying to achieve X with a patient, this is how you go about it with Footwork. So it should be a pretty comprehensive list. We've also included on this page 2 videos on custom orthotics that are directly from Footwork. So this is a course basically that they recorded on how they do their process and goes into much more detail than what we've provided. And there's also another one on Joey's. So big important part obviously for us is understanding how we are to take the scan, and then also obviously how we make sure we fill out the script correctly, and so it actually the product and the orthotic that you get for that patient is correct. The other thing is about appointments. So typically we'll obviously do a casting appointment, and that we just simply add a 301 code to the appointment. So all you have to do is make sure you let admin know, say, hey, I did a cast today, I need to then rebook that person in. So sometimes they're going to be receiving other care, so that you're just going to continue to see them. If it's just a case of you've scanned them and you then need to rebook their orthotic appointment, my suggestion is go into the Footwork portal. So there's instructions below to make sure you sign up and get an account. But access the Footwork portal, go to custom orthotic script, and before you obviously fill in all the information, because you can do that after the appointment, go down to the bottom where it says the dates, so the calendar dates, so where the dispatch is, and choose a date and find the date that's in green. And when you've worked out that date, it means that the orthotic is going to arrive the following day. So just to be sure, because it may arrive in the morning or afternoon, we book them the day after. So if it's, say, a Thursday, we know that the orthotic will be there for the Saturday. If it's a Monday, we know it will be there for the Wednesday. So you can have really good confidence, and when you walk out to reception to hand that patient over to the admin, you can say, hey, we've done a cast today, we've done a scan today, I need to see them. The orthotic's arriving on the 11th. I can see them from the 13th. So rather than wait for the patient to rebook in or wait to call them once they arrive, we can actually have that appointment booked in, so that when we have good confidence that the orthotics are going to arrive on time. The other thing is about follow-up. So it's super important that we never dispense an orthotic without a follow-up. So as a rule, we typically book an appointment 2 weeks after the orthotic has been fitted. We sort of advise them that the first week's more around getting used to them, the second week's more to sort of test out and see how it's performing. Once you feel like everything is okay, we typically, and there's no more treatment to provide, we typically review them in sort of 4 to 6 months. So depending on their level or what the issue is going on, we generally book them in for a review. That's just to make sure it's an opportunity for them to check that everything's going okay. and not just from obviously a point of view from their issue, but also to make sure that orthotics are doing everything that we expect it to do. From then, we'll typically book them for a 12-month review. So we book these as what we call a long-term review. So it comes up as a blue appointment in the diary. This prompts some slightly different messaging around. We notify the patient a few days earlier about their appointment. We also often give them a call if they haven't confirmed their appointment. So it just means that if it's 12 months in the future, we don't know. Obviously, people don't know what they're doing then, but we can obviously follow up and make sure that they've got a follow-up. And if that appointment doesn't suit, then we can just move it in the diary. So familiarise yourself with the hub on how to do a script. It's a really simple way to make that process a little bit easier, and make sure that before you do a scan with a patient that you feel comfortable and confident in using the technology.